Hi everybody, welcome to this How to Film Your Travel series. I'll get onto the pros and cons of different cameras in just a moment, but to explain first what this series is, there's going to be 4 videos. This first one's what cameras to use, second one's on how to film your trip, third one's on how to edit your trip and other post-production stuff, and the fourth and final one will be sort of tips on balancing enjoying your trip whilst filming it at the same time. But yeah, this was originally just going to be one video and it's kind of grown into this monster of a series. What that means is over the last few months, as I've gradually been working on this video and it's been coming together in the edit, I've had to reshoot things a few times. But my aim is that the final product will be something that flows together quite seamlessly, which means that when you watch the final film,
hopefully you won't be able to notice where I've made the edits.
So this first one is which cameras to use, and I'm not going to get too techie with the cameras or into finer details. I'm more just going to talk about practicality of using them whilst you're traveling. So let's dive right in. So let's get the obvious question out of the way at the start. Loads of people ask this, including Melissa here. Can I use a GoPro to film my whole trip, or should I use a GoPro to film my whole trip? And my answer is no. The good thing about GoPros is they're obviously very small, very light, waterproof, and very robust. But the thing that GoPros are designed for are filming the action stuff, the stuff that you can't film with a normal camera. It's like, I'm going to be busy rock climbing or bungee jumping or whatever, I'm not going to be able to hold a camera and get a proper shot. I just get a GoPro and stick it on my head or on my wrist or whatever. It's going to cover the action. That's what they're designed for, but nowadays people are using them for everything and I think they're overused. You know, I don't like how the image looks. You can't zoom in. It's very hard to change the settings quickly whilst you're on the go. The audio's a pile of shit, and yeah, you can get mics, you can, plug into them and stuff, but if you're going to be buying all these accessories, you may as well buy another camera. And also bear in mind, I'll get onto in a bit about what your target audience is for the video, who you're making it for, but if you want your videos to stand out on YouTube, bear in mind YouTube's filled with GoPro montages of just people holding them on their sticks going all around the world, and why would anyone want to watch that? Like, there's millions of them. Plus there's a danger with GoPros, you just leave them recording and just film forever. Like, people just walk around filming the view, filming this, filming that, and it means when you come to edit, you've got hours and hours of footage to trawl through, and it's boring as hell. Like, I hate editing GoPro footage, and I know I've met a lot of people traveling who are going around with GoPros going, oh yeah, I'm gonna make a vlog out of it, and those vlogs have never seen the light of day because they've got home, seen all this boring GoPro footage to go through, and they've just gone, fuck that, I can't be bothered. So yeah, I'm not a huge fan of GoPros. They're good for action stuff, that's what they're designed for, but for telling your story and filming your trip, there's far better cameras to use. So now you're probably thinking, alright mate, we get it, you're not a huge fan of GoPros, so what do you use? So I'll take you through the cheaper camera I used to use on my trips, the more expensive stuff I use now, and a couple other suggestions of things you can use for capturing your travels. Now this is a Sony Handycam. This is the one I took on HK2NY. I'll put the model name down here, but I don't think it's available anymore. They've got a better and newer model out now, which does shoots even better than this one does. But these things are absolutely brilliant for traveling. They're light, they're small, they're so easy to use, and literally you just flip it open. The battery's dead, I haven't charged it, but you'll flip it open, the lens opens, you press record. If you see something, you can be recording within 2 seconds and just get it straight away. Dead easy to use. The zoom on this thing's ridiculous. Like when we were at the Great Wall of China, as you do, I managed to zoom all the way into Beijing and back. It's just insane. And you can flip it around, easily film yourself. It has like auto exposure, auto focus, auto white balance, but you can also change all those things manually. So yeah, practicality wise, the Sony Handycam is absolutely brilliant, but the downside to it is it isn't waterproof, so you will need a secondary camera like the GoPro for filming some of your action stuff. And whilst you can take still photos with it, they're not very great quality, so you would need another camera if you want to take some really good pictures of your trip, or use your phone. It just depends what you're after. And finally, whilst the picture quality is like good and crisp and clean, it does kind of have that home video vibe to it, which is why 3 years ago I decided to upgrade to a different camera to give my videos more of a professional and filmic look. The new camera that I got is the Sony A7S. Obviously I'm recording with it right now, so I can't show it to you, but I'll cut to some other clips of me holding it so you can see it. So the Sony A7S, one of the great things about it is because it's mirrorless, it's really small and light, which makes it great for traveling. The image quality is so good, it's just unbelievable, and you can get that nice kind of shallow depth of field to give it a real filmic look. And one of my favorite features of it is how high you can set the exposure. Like the ISO goes up to 400,000, which basically means I can film in any light, because You know, obviously if you're doing a professional film shoot, you can bring lights with you and stuff like that, but when you're traveling on the go, more often than not, the lighting conditions aren't very good for filming. But with this, you know, you can film in the dark with this, and I've done that at like campsites and stuff like that, where there's only been like a tiny source of light. I can put the ISO right up on this, and it looks like I've gone brought lights everywhere and lit the whole scene. So, and obviously with these kind of cameras, the lenses are interchangeable, so you can get any kind of lens you want for it. And most of the time for traveling, I use a 28 to 70mm zoom lens. That mainly suits what I need for when I'm on the go and filming my trips. But for my Africa trip, where I knew I was going to be filming lots of wildlife, it's going to be far away, I bought an extra zoom lens that went out to all the way to 200. It was this big bad boy here. And yeah, I haven't brought it on any other trips because it's like a pain to carry around. But I knew that trip, you know, a lot of it's going to be about the wildlife. And I didn't just want to have some elephants like these little dots in the background. I want them filling the screen. So yeah, I got some really cool stuff with that. Another great feature of this camera for traveling is that even though it's a professional camera where you can manually set everything up, it also has a really good autofocus for the video, and it can, like, you know, face detect and track people's faces, which is excellent for when you're on the move, because you don't always have time to set up a shot perfectly. You just got to quickly capture things as you're going. But in terms of the manual side of setting things up, you know, the interface is fantastic, and you can quickly set up lots of different presets to sort of go between different settings whilst you're on the move. And the final good thing to mention about this camera as well is that it's, you know, obviously primarily a stills camera. Wasn't mainly designed for video. So if you're into photography, you can take some incredible photos with this whilst you're on the move. And you know, I'm primarily into video, not photos, so most of my photos I've taken this is just using the auto setting, and the results have been fantastic. And once you put it in Lightroom and sort it out, yeah, you get these incredible photos. Some of the drawbacks of the Sony A7S, well, obviously it's a very expensive camera. I mean, it's okay for me because I work in video, so I've used this camera on shoots, so it's paid for itself. But if you're just wanting to get a camera to play around with, you know, this might be out of your budget, or it might not be. You might be stinking rich, so good luck to you. And the inbuilt audio isn't very good. It's the same with most DSLR cameras. So you buy an external mic. I use the Rode Go mic. It sits right on top and doesn't require any batteries or anything like that. So that's a really good one to go with. And one final little frustration I have with this camera is the back screen doesn't flip round. So if I'm filming myself, I can't actually see how I'm framed in the shot or whether I'm in focus. So, you know, because occasionally when I'll film myself and I get it back and I'm not in focus, and it annoys me so much. But it's one of the little sacrifices you make for all the other fantastic features of the camera. And the other bit of kit I bring with the Sony A7S is I have a Gorilla Pod. I also bring a tripod as well sometimes nowadays, but having a Gorilla Pod, it can be really useful because if you're just carrying your camera around holding it like this, you're gonna get lots of shake on your shots. By having a tripod or a Gorilla Pod underneath, it makes your shots way more stable as you go around. It removes a lot of that camera shake, and you know, just makes your videos look that more professional. Now, another camera to use, something worth trying out, is the lower range of Sony's Alpha series, such as the A5000, which is a hell of a lot cheaper than the A7S. I have no affiliation with Sony, by the way. They're my preferred choice, but you know, check out the other brands like Canon, Nikon, compare them, make up your own mind, I don't care. But these kind of cameras are great because if you want to take good photos and do some good videos at an affordable price, these cameras are really cool. Small, compact, you can change the lenses, the screen flips around 180, so it's good for selfie filming. Again, make sure you've got it on a tripod or a monopod, not a selfie stick. A monopod, and you know, that'll make your shots a lot more stable. But they do good audio, good photos, good videos, and like, they're the ones I recommend to people the most who just want to do a few photos and a few videos and get into it. So to sum up everything I've said, if you don't have much budget to play with and your primary goal is to make a video of your trip, then I'd go for something like the Sony Handycam. If you want to, you know, make a few video clips and take some nice pictures, then maybe check out one of the other Sony cameras I've just mentioned. And then if you've got a bit more money to play with, then get a GoPro as a secondary camera to film your action scenes and your underwater scenes and things like that. And if you want to go full-on professional, then splash out on something like the Sony A7S. Now, all of the kit I've mentioned, all of it, I've put on this website called kit.com, so you can like check everything out, and if you want to buy some, just click on those links. They'll take you through to Amazon and you can get it for yourself. So I'll put the links for that in the description of the video so you can see all the stuff that I use. And there's a couple other things to mention as well. I have had people ask me, oh, is it possible just to film my whole trip using my phone? And it's like, well, yeah, you could, but it's not going to look very good. I mean, I occasionally use my phone for sort of filming odd bits when I'm on the move. Like if we're just about to catch a bus or a train or whatever and I just quickly want to clip, you can get away with it for little bits like that. But if your entire video is shot using a phone, it's going to look pretty shit and sound pretty shit. So yeah, try and check out one of the other cameras first. And the other thing I haven't mentioned at all is drones. And drones is like, that's a whole other separate video to make, and I'm still sort of getting to know my drone before I can do like a good detailed review. But the thing to bear in mind with drones is that they are starting to get overused, because whilst those shots do look incredible, like, you don't experience your trip from up there looking down, you experience it down here. That's how you experience your trip, and that should be the story you want to tell. Drones are good for when sometimes your view from here with the camera doesn't do justice to how you might feel being in that location. Like sometimes if you're looking at some, beautiful mountains or a canyon or whatever, and the camera just can't quite get a sense of the scale, that's when you want a drone to go up and really give you those kind of mind-blowing shots. But just use them here and there, or for establishing shots or things like that. If your whole video is just endless drone footage up there, then eventually your audience is going to become immune to it, and it's not really telling your story of your trip down from here. So that's about it. So hopefully I've given you a few good ideas about what camera you might want to use for your trip, depending on your budget. But obviously there are millions of different cameras out there, so if you've had good experience using a different camera I haven't mentioned, then please leave it in the comments for other people to read, because there's obviously tons of other good kit out there. Or maybe you've got a different opinion to me, maybe you've used GoPros and you absolutely love them. Just stick them in the comments, give some other people some ideas, and that'll be great. So next part I'll be talking about how to film your trip, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that, and don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all the usual stuff. Check out the t-shirt store if you want to buy a t-shirt, hoodie, vest, whatever. Maybe go nuts and buy all of them, that'd be great, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Cheers.